waste of time, and time is not a waste of life. So let's stop wasting time.
I left BigLaw. And the first question I always get when I say this to people is why? Why did you leave the job? Why did you leave the money? Why did you leave the status? And why did you leave something you worked so hard for? Well, let me tell you why. I actually really didn't leave BigLaw because of the job. The biggest thing for me was the location. I've always wanted to live in Europe since we started visiting in high school. And then I lived here for 6 months during college, and that really solidified it for me of this is somewhere I really want to try living one day in my life. When I was thinking about law school, I did look at Europe, but I knew with the qualifications, it would be harder to come back if I ever wanted to, like transfer that license versus bring my license from the US here is a little bit easier because we have more schooling. And so I decided to go to law school in the US, and I went to school in Chicago. So I did enjoy my time there. I'd actually never visited when I moved there also. So that was a really big journey for me to move to Barcelona, Spain. It wasn't just for Barcelona, it was a lot of things in general, but I feel like BigLaw can get a bad reputation for a lot of different people. And I just wanted to kind of go through my experience and what ended up happening. So I went to law school in Chicago. This was always my plan. I wanted to stay there for a while. I really ended up enjoying the city more than I thought. And unfortunately graduated during COVID, so that made things a little bit harder. I first worked at a smaller defense firm and then was recruited into BigLaw. I really enjoyed my experience there, almost 3 years. I met a lot of great people and had a lot of opportunities, so I don't regret it at all. But it got to a point where I just knew this wasn't what I wanted to do for the long term. I was really lucky in that my schedule was flexible and I was able to go home and travel a little bit more and still have work in there, but it just got to be really exhausting. I felt like I was just tired all the time trying to do everything and get all these titles and accolades and really kind of build myself up in the legal community. I really enjoyed all the activities and things I did, but it kind of got tiring. And then I did kind of get bored of the job a little bit too. I was in a specific niche, and after that time, I just kind of felt like I wanted to do something else. I have always wanted to live in Europe since we started traveling here in high school, and when multiple things came together, I just felt this was the time to go. I was kind of tired of my job. I was kind of tired of the city. I love all my friends there. That was probably the hardest thing to leave was all the people. But everything else, I was kind of just like, now just kind of felt like the time. So I slowly just got a temporary place, sold as much furniture as I could, and started just preparing to move and kind of get everything together and put as much as I could in a few suitcases and the dog and kind of come and try it out. I'm not married. I have no kids. So I thought this was just a good time to kind of go for it and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, I go back to Chicago or the US and get another job that I had before. I hope this video gives some other people courage if they're looking to take the risk to try something different after 30. You know, sometimes like, oh, do it in your 20s and in your 30s, you have to settle down. But I think we're learning through people and through time that that's not the case. And some of us kind of take longer to figure out what we want to do. You know, I really enjoy being a lawyer and what I've done, but the lifestyle just wasn't for me. All the billable work and all the activities and things, like I like to be social and keep busy, but I don't like to be overwhelmed all the time and tired. That's just not me. That's not my personality. I'm not a worker horse, as some people call it, who, you know, they can just work for 10 hours straight for 30 years and kind of go through it and not take as much vacation. And for me, the lifestyle is really what drew me to Europe in general. And so I wanted to try it out. And 6 months in, I definitely don't regret it at all. And if you guys have any other questions about BigLaw, I'm definitely going to do some more videos in that realm and kind of networking and things like that. Let me know and I'll try and do some more coming up sooner than later. But if you're looking for a reason to move to Barcelona, I don't think this view by the beach can get anything better than that.